Your security X-ray scanner is a radiation-producing device, so please make sure to follow some simple guidelines and common sense things. When the X-ray scanner is producing radiation, red lights illuminate, letting you know that there's radiation being produced. Never insert hands or any other body parts or people in the X-ray scanner. Standing in front of the X-ray scanner and using it, you are 100% safe. The X-ray scanner is also safe for film, electronic devices, medication, and anything else other than a living person or thing. So now, in order to start up your Autoclear X-ray scanner, the operational interface for all of our scanners is identical, so regardless of which model you have, startup procedure is identical. We'll take the key if it's not already inserted. We'll insert it into the operator control panel. We now turn the key 90 degrees to the on position, and then we momentarily push the push to start button. This now starts the operational sequence for startup. The X-ray scanner power on lights illuminate. The screen message comes up on the screen, and now the system will take approximately 2.5 minutes to boot up. Now the message is displayed, please clear the tunnel, then press X-ray on to auto-normalize the detectors. We press and hold the X-ray on button down momentarily. The conveyor runs, we now remove our finger, and the system is ready for use. During this boot up sequence, it's good just to take a look inside the tunnel, make sure there's nothing in the tunnel. It's important prior to using your X-ray scanner to do an operational safety test. What you'll do is make sure that your entrance and exit curtains are intact, not torn, and in place. You have to remember this is a radiation producing device, and while it is 100% safe to use, the lead curtains are there to protect the operator and guests. Alright, so let me tell you a little bit about what makes the Autoclear X-ray scanner different than everybody else's. Our standard mode of operation requires the X-ray screener to press down and hold the X-ray on button. This will enable the X-rays and will also start the conveyor. This is the safest method to screen. The reason for this is if you have a standard X-ray scanner that has a conveyor run button, oftentimes the screener will leave the conveyor run button on and they may walk away or leave the system unattended. The other thing that makes this system better is that if you were to take any type of flat item, it could be an envelope filled with powder, it could be a throwing knife, it could be a razor blade, and if you were to run these items through a conventional X-ray scanner, they would enter one side, they would enter your non-secure side, and they would exit out your secure side, and they would never be seen on the screen. With an Autoclear X-ray scanner, whatever is placed on the belt or in the tunnel will always be seen. The second thing that makes this safer is that if you have something get stuck in the tunnel, oftentimes the operator leaves the system running. They have the conveyor run button on, the conveyor's running, X-ray's not energized, but as soon as they insert their hand to remove whatever's jammed, they now are exposing themselves to radiation. And then the third item, when you have an X-ray screener and they must maintain arm's length to the X-ray scanner, there's much less probability of that X-ray screener becoming distracted, looking away, speaking with someone, or merely walking away from the X-ray scanner. I've actually had customers who have purchased the Autoclear specifically for this reason. Some mailrooms where they actually have shown me video where the people are slinging boxes up onto an X-ray scanner. They have their back to the screen. This is a non-Autoclear X-ray scanner. And then later on they're asked, did you X-ray everything? And they say, yes, they did. And all the items, in fairness, did go through the X-ray scanner. It's just they weren't looking at the screen. So now, for the operator to operate the X-ray scanner, they need to press and hold the button down. They're within arm's length. and anything that's placed on the conveyor or in the tunnel will always be seen. So now we've gone through our safety check. We've cleared the tunnel, we've pressed the X-ray on button to auto-normalize our detectors, and now we've scanned a few items. So now we'll go through the operator features of utilizing your Autoclear X-ray scanner. Let's cover the operator control panel. On the far right-hand side, we have our touchpad. This is utilized for going to a specific area. If you wish to zoom, just press and hold the zoom button down and move your finger up. You will now zoom to the area in question. If you see that you've zoomed to the wrong area, you can simply go to the right button on the bottom, that's our pan button, and you have your pan window displayed on the lower right, and you can now move and pan to the area in question. That needs further interrogation or review. When you're done, simply press the normal enter button and it will take you back to the default screen. We have our auto outline feature. What this will do is place sharp, distinct edges around all edges that are seen. This can be good to help identify items which might be in a bag and not obviously seen by the individual. If you take a look at the razor blade's actually in a piece of cardboard just for safety purposes. If we use the auto outline feature, you can distinctly see the cardboard that the razor blade is taped to with the defined outline of the item. We have a help button. Our help button will actually pull up a picture of the operator control panel. It shows all the different buttons, and if you have a question about one of the features, we'll go to that feature, we'll go to auto outline, we'll tap the touchpad, and it now gives us a full description of what auto outline does. When you wish to exit the help screen, merely move the pointer down to exit help screen, tap the touchpad, and now you're back to the normal scanning mode. We have our multi-energy button. When the blue light is illuminated over multi-energy, that's letting you know that you're getting a color image. The way colors are represented is you have organic material, which is low density. Those items are orange in color. You have items that are green, and those are medium density, inorganic. And then you have items in blue, which are high density and also inorganic. If you press the multi-energy button down and you turn the blue light off, you will now get a black and white image. At any time, regardless of the image mode that you're in, you can lower or increase the contrast of the image simply by pressing either one of the adjust buttons and running your finger up to make it lighter, or run your finger down to make it darker. We have Real Clear. Real Clear does a lot of contrast enhancement from low density all the way through high density. We have our Auto Dense Alert feature. Auto Dense Alert will take items which are dense, specifically metallic objects, although if you do have organic material thick enough, that will also flash red. This is a great tool for helping identify items that someone may attempt to obscure from view of the screener. It could be a disassembled firearm, oriented in such a way where it does not look like a firearm, or even edged weapons to where they would appear on the screen as a simple thin black line. But if they were oriented that way and you turn on Auto Dense Alert, the Auto Dense Alert will make those items flash red. This is particularly helpful in correctional facilities. We have our invert function. Invert provides something very similar to that of a negative image of a photograph. Items that were dark are now made light, and items that were light are now made dark. This is particularly helpful if you need to strip through a complex bag. You press and hold either one of the adjustment buttons, run your finger upward, and you begin stripping away least dense, leaving most dense items. Here you can clearly see the metallic glass case and the glasses inside. We have our Z-Scan feature. Z-Scan default mode will take you to medium density inorganic, and this feature allows you to scroll through medium density inorganic to low density organic, and then up to high density inorganic. If I press and hold the adjust button, I run my finger down, you can now clearly see the water bottle, which is organic, orange in color. I'll run my finger back up. You start to see the bag becoming green. That's medium density. I have a nylon bag, so nylon represents itself as inorganic medium density, as well as some of the keys of my keyboard from my laptop. And now we're displaying blue for metallic items. Some people find it easier to scroll through and separate the colors to help identify possible threats. Now we go to D-Scan. When in D-Scan, it represents a color image, but the colors do not represent organic or inorganic. The colors merely represent density. So any item that is the same color is the same density. This is also a feature that's adjustable. So you can go through and change the density of different items, and something that was not seen before may be seen now, simply by changing the way your eye perceives it. This feature is used a lot by correctional facilities looking for narcotics in jackets and shirts. We now have the stripping buttons. If you press organic, it will take anything that's organic, orange, low density, and it will gray it out. Then we have our inorganic stripping button. So we'll take whatever is inorganic, medium density and high density, green for medium, blue for high, and it will gray those items out. Then we have our low density button. That applies high power to the entire image. This way, if a product is extremely dense, it's much easier to see any items that might be hidden behind it. Now we have our image review section. This is an optional feature. If you don't have the option, it'll provide you with 10 image recall. If you were scanning, became distracted, or were busy, and a package was cleared by you, but it's bothering you and you want to go back and review it, just hit the back button and it'll pull back the items that were last screened. If you're doing an investigation, an incident happens in your facility and you need to go back to a specific date and time, simply press the on-off button and it will pull up a date-time ribbon up on top, and just enter the date and time as displayed on top of the screen, and then you can use the backward-forward buttons. The image closest to the date and time entered will be what's displayed. You have an emergency stop button. One on the operator control panel, two on the X-ray scanner itself. These are for safety. If at any time something happens that requires you to immediately shut off the X-ray scanner, you press one of the emergency stops, X-ray is immediately disabled, and the system will need to be shut down. The emergency stop will have to be corrected, and then the system will need to be rebooted. Here we have our conveyor direction. Right now we're scanning from left to right. You can also scan from right to left. And now we'll talk about the threat button. The yellow threat button contained on the operator control panel is specifically for our X-ray training program. So to start your X-ray training program, what we'll do is we'll just press menu. We'll go down to training mode. We'll tap it. And then it changes from scanning mode and displays training mode. Now when you press and hold the X-ray on button down, no X-ray is generated, the conveyor will not move, but images will scroll across the screen. The computer will randomly project guns, knives, and bombs. You can stop the training program at any time. Here we have a firearm. It's oriented in an upward, slightly tilted position. I'll press the threat button. The system will now provide feedback, letting you know you've correctly identified a threat item. Now you can either utilize any of the enhancement tools, image enhancement, once you're satisfied with that, you can simply go to normal enter, press normal enter, it removes the threat item, and now you can continue with the training program. What I'll do now is I'll press and hold the X-ray on button down, and I will press the threat button without an actual threat being generated. The computer now provides you feedback, letting you know that the threat button was pressed without it projecting a tip image. Simply go to normal enter, press normal enter. It removes the message ribbon from the top and allows you to scan. Once again, at any time, when you're in the training program, you have full access to all of the image enhancement features. We can utilize D-scan. We can utilize invert. We can strip layers away. We can go to black and white. So any image enhancement tools that you have access to when you're live screening, you can do in the training mode. So now we'll start the training mode again. I'll press and hold X-ray on down, and we will not press the threat button when an actual threat image is projected by the computer. Items are randomly projected, so the operator can't count bags or even attempt to figure out when the next threat item will be projected. Here we have another firearm. I did not press the threat button. I kept the X-ray on button pressed down. The computer's now told me, you have failed to identify a false threat. Please inspect the image closely for any real threats. Press enter to continue. Another thing that's nice about Auto Dense Alert, before we talked about edged weapons, here's a firearm, and it clearly flashes red. But even if it wasn't flashing red, a dark black mass should be a red flag to use screener, letting them know that further action is required, further interrogation, hand search of the package. Now we'll press normal enter. The message ribbon is removed, the threat item is removed, and now we can press and hold X-ray on and continue with the training program. Oh, I see we have a guest entering the facility that will need to be screened. I'll go over, press menu. I will press tap exit training. Now we're back to the screener mode, and now I can press the X-ray on button down and scan the next item from the guest. So now if you've had an incident that requires you to save the image, send it to the police, or using it for your investigation, what you would simply do is take a USB stick, insert it into the side of the operator control panel. You can now go to image review, pull the image back, or if it's a live image, whatever image is on the screen, and now we'll press the menu button. We'll say save print image, we'll tap it, it comes up, says image will be saved to media. I'll click save image, and now the image as displayed on the screen will be saved to your memory stick. If you were to utilize any of the advanced image features, the image will be saved as displayed on the screen. Once you're done, simply remove the memory stick, and the image that's displayed will be displayed as on the screen. It will give you date, time, so you know that it's a image under review. If it's a live image, it will still provide date and time, but image review will not be present. Now you can take this and go to any computer and either print it if your X-ray is not hooked up to a printer, or you can simply share it. If, let's say, you're a corporate client and your mailroom received a threat, you can now take that threat, save it onto the memory stick, and email it to all your other locations to share with them what was found. So now the end of the day comes, you'll be shutting down your security checkpoint for those who don't run 24/7. In order to do that, simply take the key, turn it 90 degrees to the off position. The system will now shut down. You'll see a brief message shutting down, ... and your system will shut down within 20 seconds. You'll see the power lights extinguish, and now the system is shut down. You can remove your key, place it in your lockbox for security. So now we'll cover what to do should the emergency stop be accidentally pressed. We'll focus on the emergency stop on the operator control panel. So if this button is pressed down, it will immediately shut the machine down so that the conveyor cannot run and X-ray cannot be generated. You'll get this message up on the screen, E-stop interlock error. So now what we'll need to do is, first of all, we want to make sure that we correct the emergency stop situation. The button has arrows with the word reset. Simply turn clockwise and the emergency stop bounces up or springs back by itself. Now the emergency stop situation's been corrected and we'll go through our shutdown procedure. Simply move the pointer to shut down system, tap it, the system will now shut down. It will take approximately 20 seconds. And after the system is shut down, we'll be able to press the push to start button momentarily and allow the system to boot back up. If one of the emergency stops was pressed on the tunnel of the machine, on the body, depending upon the X-ray that you have, some do not require a hard reset, others are spring-loaded and will bounce back by themselves if accidentally pressed. Now the system's shut down, we'll go push to start, momentarily push the button. We see the power lights come on, we hear that the machine is booting up, and now we just wait about 2.5 minutes for the system to come ready.